Hello again. Let me start this by addressing the previous story. Last time, I let our subject speak for himself for the majority of the tale. The audio you heard was not directly to you, but for an interview he had with a few of his friends. I will only use those clips in the future when I discuss those said allies. Today's tale focuses on another hero, one displaced from time. I do apologize if I have gotten ahead of myself there. Let us explore our next profile. Although, to properly do so, we must turn back the clock from our modern day to an era that was a long time ago, at least by human standards. Seriously, you have really short lifespans. Backwards all the way to the year 1941. If you recall your history, which some of you may not, which is why I'm giving this recap, this was a time when the world was once again in horrific turmoil in the event known as World War II. Here, the Germans and the allies to the fatherland were attempting to divide the world amongst themselves. At this point of the year, they seemed invincible, as France had fallen, and bombing raids plagued London, while the Japanese ravaged the Pacific. Horrified by the ransack of Europe and Asia, our protagonist, Doug J. Rogers, tried to enlist into the U.S. Army. Before the atrocious war, Rogers was a participant of dry dirt races, the precursor to drag races. Doug was a very skilled racer, winning many of the local tournaments that were held. Upon the outbreak of the war, he quit and sought to be a soldier in the U.S. Army, hoping to take revenge for all the lands that were lost to the villainous regimes, and for the ones that gave their lives to stop it, only to fail to do so. Unfortunately for him, he was continuously rejected for being too scrawny to join, as well as a number of disqualifying ailments. When his best friend, David Davy Darnell, was called into service, he gave up hope of ever joining the army. However, shortly afterwards, he found the hope he had been looking for in the form of a man named Dr. Abraham Stewart. The good doctor recruited him to a secret project that would solve all of his problems, an experimental serum called the Super Airman Serum. To become eligible, he was sworn into the army. During this time, he showed his good nature to his fellow soldiers through various acts of kindness and self-sacrifice. These actions proved to the high command his worthiness to undergo the treatment. However, after he transformed into a more muscular version of himself, Stewart's machine exploded. Rogers managed to survive, but Dr. Stewart was unfortunately killed by the blast. He later learned that the machine was overloaded by a member of the German science division known as Octo-Hydra. He later got a suit, one that combines the patriotic colors of the flag with elements that were quite similar to his dry dirt racing suit. He also received a shield made up of vibranium, a hard but rare substance from the mysterious African country of Archaconda. I know I have a tendency to introduce concepts that won't be expanded upon until later, but I only say this stuff because the links between the two are at least somewhat combined. Things like Archaconda and David Darnell will just have to wait for another day in which I can properly tell their stories. Now, to explain the rest of Roger's tale, we must discuss his impact, one that stretches into the modern day. It is no surprise people try to replicate the late Dr. Stewart's super airman serum. It allowed for super strength and durability so powerful, it allowed him to survive in ice for over 75 years. There are only a few who have gotten their hands on it. The first was Johann Gorben, leader of a German scientific division called Octohydra, the one I mentioned before. Before he became the supervillain he is now, he was just a young German boy with ambitions of taking over the world and a fascination with science, which is a topic he pursued. He wanted to create a potion of some sort that would allow for immortality. During World War II, he served Germany's horrific regime and found his own science division. Secret, Octohydra, the one I keep repeating. It secretly has the goal to take over the world themselves. When the German High Command heard of Captain Eagle's Super Airman Serum, they went to Gorben so they can try and replicate it. However, when he started working on the formula, the German government almost immediately deemed his methods crazy and dangerous. With this new restriction, he had to experiment on himself. He used a combination of science and long-lost Ashrumian enchantments, which resulted in him dying in a lab accident. However, the formula caused him to be almost instantaneously resurrected. The accident had left him without any skin on his face, as it was all burned off. He also gained almost super strength, similar to what Captain Eagle possesses. Yeah, I probably should have introduced Captain Eagle's name, but perhaps going this route wasn't exactly the best idea, but we're already in it, so oh well. Let's go back to the villain. Already had too many tangents in this already. Because of his condition, he adopted the villainous moniker of the Phantom Skull. He tried to create many more super soldiers for the benefit of Octohydra, which required living, sentient test subjects. He did not have to wait long as he captured an American squadron who were trying to uncover the secrets of the shady organization. Unfortunately, the capture of the squad put Gorben on Captain Eagle's radar, because the person leading it was Roger's best friend, Davy Darnell. This began the ongoing rivalry of the Phantom Skull and Captain Eagle. In 1945, Roger stopped the Phantom Skull from using Artem Zoda's fire field bombs, but the fight damaged the plane they were on. Rogers forced the plane into the ocean, but emerged over 75 years later after being frozen in ice. Already explained how he could survive that. However, Gorben managed to make his way out of the water because the strange device he used to power his weapons was a magical wishing artifact known as the cosmic key to Babylon, aka the Tesseract of Babylon. He was instantly transported home, but he did not do so with the Tesseract of Babylon in his possession, leaving it at the bottom of the ocean. After the war, he secretly convinced many former Octo-Hydra workers who were working for Gunshield under Operation Paperclip to secretly take over the organization. His accident allowed him to live for a long time, enough so that he saw his scheme being discovered by a now unfrozen Captain Eagle years later. It caused the organization to split into two. One faction reformed Gunshield, while the other became the modern-day Octo-Hydra. The other person that tried to replicate the formula was a US veteran named John Black, aka US Shadow. He was a power-crazed maniac and injected himself with an experimental formula. Many people found a way to combat the good captain without the need for physical enhancements. One was known as the Mecha Hate-Monger. And see that he lives up to his name. This is a clone of the evil ruler of Germany during the time. You know who it is, but I'm not saying that horrid man's name. Ugh. Even though it probably already offended a lot of people already by showing the body. So, I feel like a hypocrite. He was created using the combined efforts of German scientists Arnim Zoda and Horst Strauss. He uses a mechanical armor with many powerful weapons on it. He was born at the moment of death for the original that died at the hands of another wartime superhero named Jim Joseph, or J.J. Blazeman, aka the American Torch. Not to be confused with another burning hero, but that's for another time. At that moment, his mind was transferred and copied. The evil monster was sent to America so he can seize power and cleanse the land of impurity. I think you know what that means. Fortunately, Blazeman's grandson exists in the modern day as a similar superhero, though he deserves another time to properly tell his own tale. Thus concludes our tale for now. Tune in next time to see another combination, another odd story. You may laugh, but this, like I said, is history to the denizens of this universe. Until then, I must leave you with this. Goodbye for now.
Oh, hi, it's me. The guy that realizes that in a tongue-in-cheek channel like this, probably shouldn't be too serious. Way too serious.
PTSD.
I have a lot of regrets about the last video, so, it's me, Nick, just me. No, with all that out of the way, before we get into the design notes and really all the stuff about my little combination, just want to say that I'm not sure entirely if this is going to be very good, because, well, I did avoid to mention certain things about the Germans and what they were called at the time, or their leader. But, I mean, look at this thing. It looks like a RoboCop villain from a future West Virginia. It's not good. I don't know what I was thinking with this one, but it's kind of too late to go back. There it is. Please subscribe. I've been on a lot of questionable parts of wikis just to do research for this. I'm 90% sure I'm in some government watch list by now, and I've done it all for you. I didn't have to, but I did. Just please subscribe, please. This isn't worth a subscribe. I don't know what is. Anyway, design note time. Yay! The part you've all been waiting for. Now, let's see. Well, it was kind of hard to make it because well, it wasn't that hard. I made the stripes on the chest, all the little part that buttons up. Instead of a star, I added a falcon. You know, the falcon symbol from Smash. Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Also made the sports goggles like the ones that actual 1940s dry dirt racers wore. I explained why I made him a dry dirt racer in the video. I think it's a pretty cool bit of history. Unfortunately, I went a little too into history. I know, I probably should stop talking about it now, but I just can't get over the fact that this was my design. And now I'm probably gonna pay some sort of price. Hey, don't blame me, blame Marvel. They made the hate monger. And I combined it because I'm weird. Like I said in the other video, I think I might be insane. I'm just gonna go now. Just have to live with all my mistakes that I've made in the past, week. Alright, goodbye.